Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicago and Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 468, season 19. Today's date is August 24th, 2025, and welcome to the show. Yes, I'm doing another podcast today. I always do most on the weekends. In today's program, I'm going to talk about the 75th anniversary of the grand opening of the Double Drive-In Theater that was located on West Columbus Avenue on the southwest side of Chicago. Also, I will read a menu from a restaurant. It's called Arnie's Restaurant that was located in the Gold Coast neighborhood of Chicago. It was founded by restaurateur Arnie Morton. I'll talk about him as well. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by the 1975 Chevrolet Nova. I remember those cars very well. And the commercial is from 1974, so they're introducing the new model. You understand that. Okay, so sit back and relax. Let's go back to the mid-1970s for the 1975 Chevrolet Nova. And I'll be right back with the show, folks. Thank you.
The practical size compact car with room for six and an economical six-cylinder engine. You know, some car makers are sounding like they invented it this year. But Chevy's had one like that for 14 years. The Nova. And this year's Nova, with its dramatic new look, is beautiful proof that we've done our homework on compacts. It'll cost you more to buy than last year's Nova, but it could cost you less to maintain. You see, Nova has a series of engineering improvements designed to reduce maintenance expenses. In 50,000 miles of driving, you could save $300 on scheduled maintenance, like oil changes, lube jobs, and engine tune-ups. And one more thing. In most cases, today's used car values are the highest they've been in 15 years. With your trade-in, a new Nova could cost you a lot less than you'd think. The practical Chevy Nova. Looking better all the time. Act now. See your Chevy dealer.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for the 1975 Chevrolet Nova. I'll give you a little history of this wonderful car. The car was a small automobile, and it was introduced in 1962, and there was much fanfare during that car. But then in 1968, then it became popular, and it became the Chevy 2, like Nova nameplate. Then they dropped it, and then I don't know, it's kind of confusing. So during the 70s, it was a very popular car. I remember growing up in the Ashburn neighborhood when I lived on Hayford Street. I used to see a Nova parked in the driveway. That was on West 75th Place, and I forgot I forgot whose house it was. And it was a yellow Nova. It was 75, 76, beautiful car, like that. And it was going neck and neck with the Vega. Maybe I'll talk about that car someday. We'll see. Then it went through 1979, and then it was replaced by this Chevrolet Citation. Do you remember that car? I remember very well. That ran from 1980 to 1985, and then the Nova returned in 1985, and it was then it went through 1988, and I think that's when it stopped. And that was it. So from 1962 to 79, it was a compact car. And then from 1985 to 1988, it was subcompact, like that. I remember it was four-door and all that. So that wasn't much controversial as the Vega. No. I still want to talk about that car. It's I find it fascinating, like that. Okay, so that's it. All right, at the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the 75th anniversary of the grand opening of the Double Drive-In Theater. always say restaurant. It's not a restaurant. It was a drive-in theater. It was located on West Columbus Avenue. I'll get the address in a moment. And also, I'll read off a menu from Arnie's restaurant that was located in the Gold Coast neighborhood of Chicago. Before I get started, a couple of things. My health is okay. Like I said before, I will go for my 7th chemo, September 2nd. That's right after Labor Day. Usually I go Mondays, but it's Tuesday. So they're going to change that. I'm doing all right so far. Yeah, I still have issues with leakage like that. My urologist tells me we'll wait till November, but I'm going to give him a call and tell him, for the operation, maybe I'll get it early if it's possible, or as early as possible. It is too much. We'll see. I'm going to try. A couple other things. I posted a video last night, to be exact. I explained about where to find my podcast, and I always tell find on YouTube. Go to YouTube. You will find it. Do a search. I always get that. Somehow people don't get it. So I guess older people have trouble. They're not that tech savvy. So I'll do the best I can. I wish they included in my page, a link. Will take you right there. But they removed it. Bad idea. I've said that before. So somehow, some way, they do find me. They find the podcast and they listen and they love it. One person mentioned, I started from the beginning. Even though you sound rusty, I enjoyed listening to you. That's kind of nice. That really is. Podcasts are very popular. Everyone has one in a way. Even in the media, in Chicago, they have their own. I've seen a couple of people launch new ones by themselves, recently. That's kind of cool. Like that. I think the key is when you want to do a podcast, talk about something that you are very knowledgeable and something you love. Because I love history. I love Chicago history. That's great. There are other things I do like. I like comic books. I don't want to talk about that, because there's like a special audience for that. Also television. I had TV Oblivion podcast, but I stopped that about a year or two ago because it was too much. So maybe I'll relaunch it. Maybe I'll try a new format. We'll see what happens. We'll try that. And so anyway, so like I said before, if you want to launch a podcast, talk about something, your passion. Talk about your passion. I do that. I know a couple people have passions about certain things. I know one in particular that loves talking about, every day they can't get out of their mind. And it works. And you enjoy yourself doing it. I enjoy doing this. I really do. I can't stop. I love talking about Chicago history, but everyone loves that. And it's a fascinating subject, and it's limitless. There's lots to talk about. You can talk about, there are certain subjects you can talk about again, but that's no big deal. I mean, that's fine. All right. So that's what I do. And I hope everyone enjoys the podcast, and I will continue to entertain you. I love doing that. All right. Let's get started. We'll talk about the Double Drive-In Theater. I had great memories of this place. And because where I lived in the Ashburn neighborhood, I moved in 1974. I didn't know about it right away. People talked about it, and I go, "What are they talking about? What double drive-in?" They said the drive-in theater. I go, "Oh, okay." And I asked, "Where was it?" They said it was about a few blocks west of Western Avenue. It could be the Ashburn neighborhood, or it could be the, I don't know. I'm not sure what neighborhood it is. I thought it was that. And that opened August 19th, 1950, 75 years ago. And the first movie that played was Where the Sidewalk Ends. I've seen this movie on TCM. It's a good movie. And at first, I had 2 screens. They added a third screen later on, but they did not rename it the Triple Drive-In. They just left it like that. So, okay. So, that was located at 2800 West Columbus Avenue, which is Southwest Highway if you go in the suburbs. I've known that street many years. And they had midnight shows shown like that. According to some people who lived in the area at the time, they used to see the screen from their homes, from their backyards, or up front of their houses, or from their bedroom window, see the screen. And so they got a free movie like that. Yeah. The phone number at the time was WA5 9600 312, of course, the area code. And it was a very popular, probably, in the 50s and the 60s, the 70s and the 80s, and that was it. Mostly the 70s, that was very popular. Because I knew a lot of people, a lot of friends from the neighborhood, also from Bogan High School that went there. And they tell me stories. They, like on the weekend, they would sneak in. If you had a car, you would put your friends in the trunk. And you would bring beer, of course. I did that once. I was invited. I went to a movie with a couple of people I know at Bogan, and they said, "Pete, you want to come to the movie?" Yeah, I'll come. I had no idea what I was getting into. They said, "You have to be in the trunk." I go, "What? What do you mean? You mean I can't sit in front or in the back?" "Nope, we're going to sneak you in." Okay, luckily I wasn't alone. There were 2 other guys, and it was a big car. I think it was like a Mercury Marquis. Remember that? Piled in the car, and the trunk wasn't really closed. It was slightly open, slightly. I think they put it like a rope or something. I don't remember. So from my house to over there was quite a hike. It took about maybe 10 minutes to get there, 5 or 10 minutes. And then luckily, so it wasn't easy. I was breathing okay, thank God. So according to the guy, the friend who drove us there, it was fine. He got tickets. He got his ticket. You know what? He should have brought the mistake he did. He should have brought another passenger. He went alone because the guy would be suspicious. Why is this guy alone? But he got in anyway, so he was very lucky. But he should have brought. I should have sat with him in the passenger seat. But no, he wasn't thinking. So as soon as we got there, he got out of his car, knocked on the trunk door, and then we got out. There was beer. I drank a little bit. Not much, but the others did. They didn't get drunk, thank God. So, and then we just got in the car, and then we watched the movie. I don't remember what movie we saw, to tell you the truth. I don't remember. It was... they were laughing and all that. And there were some other cars that were laughing at, they were laughing at us. And then I saw other cars that did the same thing. They had kids coming out and, from the trunk and sat there. But it was fun. I had a good time. I went a couple of times later, but I wasn't in the trunk. I was in the passenger seat. Thank God. I think the last movie I saw was Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. I think that was the last drive-in. That was like 1884 or something like that. I was in DeVry. I went to DeVry at the time. So there was a friend of mine. He called from the landline. "Hi, Pete, you want to go to the movies?" Okay, we're going to a double drive-in. I go, "Oh, no. Do I have to sneak in the trunk again?" He said, "No, it's just you and I." Okay. All right, that's fine. So we did go there, and it was fine. Still crowded, still popular. Then later on, the neighborhood changed. People left, and then it closed like in the mid 1990s. In the weekends, I believe, had the flea markets. I think. I don't know if it was earlier or later. I don't remember. I did go once at a flea market. I did go there. I didn't find anything really, but it was packed with people. They had all their items on the tables for sale. So that was good. And then it was demolished probably early 2000s, and it's now an industrial park. So if you drive down Columbus Avenue, you will see it. Also next door to it was Zayre. My mom shopped there all the time. You know, it was near our house. She loved the store. And next door to that was Wiseway. It was a grocery store. She loved shopping there. It was a good store. Yeah, it was a decent, reasonably priced grocery store, you know. And she liked that. And we drove over there, you know, and I think Super X was there. I'm not sure. Was it? I don't know. All I remember is Wiseway and Zayre. I could be wrong. Super X might be there. No, I don't think so. I think it was in Fort City, you know. I remember a liquor store, there was a liquor store there, I think. But I remember Wiseway and there was Zayre. I talked about Zayre before, you know, in that location. There was one on 111th and Cicero in Oak Lawn, but we always went to the one on Columbus. It was easier that way, like that. And when we drove there, you know, my mom was driving at the time. We see the sign, you know, the marquee, not the marquee, the sign from the Double Drive-In, and see what movies were playing at the time. That was fun to see. It was exciting. Like, what was playing over there? What's going to play next? You know, it would say coming soon. Also, I remember that. So, happy 75th anniversary. Yeah. I have a Facebook page. I don't use it often. It's a combination of Fort City Cinema / Double Drive-In. I did that. So I used to post movie posters and all that. I don't do that often. Once in a while, I should, you know, but I might redo it again. I'll see. I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay. So that's it. All right. Right now, I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about Arnie's restaurant, and I will read a menu from that place. Okay. Had some interesting items. Okay. So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the rest of the show, folks. Thank you.
This is Andy Leonard, and he's going to demonstrate McDonald's new Triple Ripple ice cream. Delicious chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, all in one sugar cake cone. McDonald's doesn't know any better ice cream experts than kids, and kids are what Triple Ripples are all about.
So get up and get away to McDonald's.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed that break. Well, you know what it was. All right, right now I'm going to talk about Arnie's restaurant. When I was a kid, I used to see ads about this restaurant in the Chicago Tribune, the Sun-Times, mostly Tribune. I don't know. I've never been to this place. Never. But from according to some people, or, you know, from Facebook, you know, social media, they remembered it very fondly. The food was wonderful. I didn't see any complaints. Not really. So it was, I think during in the 70s, that was in business, you know. And so it was founded by a man. His name was Arnie Morton. And I'll talk about him in a moment. And this was located at 1030 North State Street, maybe State Parkway. I think State Parkway is the correct address. So before it opened, first it was Arnie's, then it was other restaurants. So I'll talk about Arnie Morton right now. So Arnie, his full name was Arnold Jerome Morton. He was a restaurateur. He founded Morton's Restaurant, you know, the steakhouse. Okay. He was born in Chicago. He grew up in Hyde Park on the south side. And his father owned 2 restaurants. I don't know what restaurants he owned. And that's how he learned the business. So I don't know if he went to college or anything. Yeah, he did. He did go to college. He went to University of Alabama. He played football for 2 years. He served in World War II. Okay. His first restaurant was called the Walton Walk, and that was between Rush Street and Michigan Avenue in the 50s. And he was partners with Hugh Hefner, for the Playboy Club. They opened in 1960. I get a lot of requests from people. Can you talk about the Playboy Club in Chicago? I might do that. Why not? It's that was famous. A lot of people today might be offended. I understand that, but it was history. Okay. So he was involved with that, about launching the Playboy empire like that. And he was executive vice president of Playboy Enterprises. He did that. So he was there for a while. And then his parents, I found out. His parents did run a restaurant in Hyde Park called Morton's. And it was there for many years. And then the restaurant first was located at 5487 Lake Park Avenue. I think that's the address. Then it moved to 56 and South Shore Drive. And it was by the Shore Drive Motel, and it had famous, their menus and all that. And in 1978, he closed that and he opened his first Morton's Steakhouse. Okay. And he had a partner. His name was Klaus Fritsch, and they opened other restaurants during the 1970s. And he opened Arnie's on the Gold Coast, and it was at Newberry Plaza. Newberry Plaza was a condominium tower. It was a building, still there. Then he opened the seafood restaurant La Mure. I don't know how long that was. And then he opened a disco. It was a nightclub called Zorin's, named after his second wife. Okay. And he opened Morton's in 1978 in Newberry Plaza next to Arnie's. Okay. And when Frank Sinatra was alive, and he visited there, and it became very popular, all because of Blue Eyes. He showed up. Then he opened more steakhouses all through not just Chicago, but all over the country and all over the world as well. Yeah. And 2011, he Landry's bought him in 2011. They did that. So then Arnie's closed about 1993. It closed like that. I don't know why. The real reason. So a lot of people were upset. Then Morton's stayed, but they closed during 2020 with the pandemic. So I don't know what's there now. It's been 5 years, so hopefully someone will open another place. We'll see about that. Okay. And Arnie Morton died on May 28th, 2005. He was 83 years old. He had Alzheimer's, and he was very ill. His children, he had 7 children. He was married before. Some of them are in the restaurant business. I don't know in Chicago, maybe in Chicago or LA or any other cities like that. Okay. So now I have a menu of the restaurant with me. I don't want to upload the photo of the menu cover because it shows a naked lady. She's topless. So I might get in trouble on Facebook. They might remove it, or I'll get in trouble, make my account restricted. I don't want to do that. No, I'll later on I'll upload maybe a matchbook or an ashtray. That would be safer. Okay. All right. So I have the menu for Arnie's restaurant. I'm going to read it right now. I will include the prices, as I promised. Okay. So here we go. I don't know what decade is from. Could be the 70s or 80s. I think it's the 70s. So here are the appetizers. Here's the first one: avocado, sour cream, and red caviar. That costs $2.25. Shrimp Supreme on ice, $2.75. Icelandic trout and dill sauce, $2.75. Alaskan king crab, Lewis dressing, I don't know what that is, $3.15. With asparagus, $1.75. Beefsteak, tomato, and anchovies, $1.75. Escargot and pastry, $2.75. These are $2, And melon of the season, $1.50. Okay. Soups, they had onion soup grantini, I can't pronounce it, $1.50, and soup du jour, $1.25. Whatever soup was for the day. Okay. I assumed like on Fridays it's clam chowder. What was this? Okay. Let's see what else. Excuse me. Salads, they had avocado vinaigrette, $1.50. Beefsteak, tomatoes, and purple onions, $1.50. And Arnie's tossed salad, $1.50. So it's a specialty of salad, I assume any dressing you want was available. Specialties, they had baked chicken on a bed of linguine, $4.50. Beef stew, $4.75. Long Island duckling, sweet and sour red cabbage, $5.95. Shrimp and capon Newburg on a bed of rice, $6.25. Roast saddle of lamb, rissoled potatoes, $7.50. That's the most expensive item on the menu. Under veal, he had strips of veal with mushrooms and cream, $6. Piccata and lemon butter sauce, $6.25. And linguine. Doesn't say the price on that. Maybe it's included. I don't know. Fish, they had trout and brown butter, $6. Broiled red snapper, $6.25. And the side dish was parsley potatoes. Can't pronounce that. Sorry. Beef, under the category. We have prime rib of beef, whipped horseradish, $7.25. Sirloin steak El Forno, $8.25. That must be the most expensive item on the beef section. Filet mignon with béarnaise sauce, $7.75. Minute sirloin steak, $6.95. Filet of beef in a pastry shell, $7.95. It's the same with sirloin steak, New York sirloin steak, $7.95. Chopped sirloin with mushrooms, $4.95. And the side dish, you want either baked potatoes or cottage fried potatoes. The side dishes they had were cottage fried potatoes, 75 cents. Baked potatoes, 75. Mashed brown potatoes with sour cream, 95 cents. Cream spinach, 75 cents. Linguine, $1.75. And white asparagus with drawn butter, $1.75. Now here goes my favorite section, is desserts. Oh boy. So we have key lime pie, $1.50. Brandy ice, $2. Melon of the season, $1.50. French ice cream, $1.25. Hot Fudge Sundae, $1.75. I love Hot Fudge Sundaes. Oh, I love them. Strawberries from the cart with fresh whipped cream, $1.85. Pastries from the cart, $1.50. So whatever they brought the cart in, they had desserts on the shelves. You get to choose whatever you like. Lemon tort, $1.50. Chocolate tort, $1.50. Beverages, coffee, 50 cents. Tea, 50 cents. Hot chocolate, 50. With schlag, 65 cents. And, that's with the coffee. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So that's the menu. Not very big, but everything sounded delicious. It really did. That's great. That's wonderful. So, like I said before, it's a shame I didn't go to this place because it sounded wonderful. I don't know if it was very expensive. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. Could have been. But a lot of people remember, they remembered for their lunch menu. I wish I had the lunch menu. Maybe it was the same, but they enjoyed having lunch there whenever they were in the city, sightseeing or visiting people. They drop in their Arnie's. Yeah. That's nice. Okay. So that's it for this show. I'll do a recap what I've talked about. I talked about the 75th anniversary of the grand opening of the Double Drive-In Theater. That was located at 2800 West Columbus Avenue on the southwest side of Chicago. Also, I talked about Arnie's Restaurant. I read a menu from that. That was located at 1030 North State Parkway in the Gold Coast neighborhood of Chicago. And that was at the Newberry Plaza. This podcast will be published later on today. Whatever podcasts are found, if you have these apps on your phone or your tablet, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Breaker, Overcast, Podbean, and Good Pods, whatever podcast apps you have. Someone asked me, are you on Pandora? I go, I tried to apply, but I didn't get through. So that's a shame. Someone else asked me if I'm on satellite radio, and I said, no, no, I'm not. I think you have to have a broader audience, a big audience to have that. That's not me. Okay. Also be published on my blog, www.vanchicago.blog. All the all the episodes are listed. If you sign in with your email, you receive a notification. Click on the link; it'll take you right there to listen. It'll probably take you to Spotify, the website. I'm sure. Or if you go, if you use the Spotify app, you could find me, and you do a search. Also, it's also my YouTube channel. And again, people always ask me, I did this yesterday, and I responded, and they would ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where can I listen to your podcast? You can listen on YouTube. Go to YouTube on your desktop or any device. Do a search, Fantasy Chicagoland Stories, or my name, Pete Costanis. When you find it, click subscribe. You receive a notification of the latest episode. It doesn't cost anything, no cost. And you can see the rest of the episodes at your convenience. You can listen if you like. If you have CarPlay in your car, you can listen in the car while you're driving. Also, you can stream it with Spotify or YouTube on your television set. It's there. Also, if they have apps on your TV, I think it's possible you can listen to me. I don't know. Also, be sure to have my social media accounts: Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. They'll have the links. They'll take you right there. Okay, that was fun. All right, so this is Pete Costanis, your host for Vanishing Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today is Sunday. It's a beautiful day. It looks cloudy, but it's not hot. Thank God. I think the 90s are gone. I think so. I hope so. I hope they're gone. So I'm just going to relax today. So here's bye-bye for me, and here's a little traveling music from our favorite Chicago legend and good guy, Ray Rayner, saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.